Hey, welcome to the channel as we kick off multiple episodes in our Christian criminal cover-ups series. We're going to be looking at Daystar. We're going to be looking at the ongoing drama at Gateway. And then, of course, we will be looking very close at the Association of Related Churches.
Why are you suing ARC?
Yeah, you can find most of the allegations in the federal lawsuit that we filed last year in federal court. It's a racketeering and criminal conspiracy lawsuit, specifically naming Chris Hodges, Dino Rizzo, ARC leadership, and their agents. And what you're going to find in there in the allegations are all the typical things that you would find in a RICO lawsuit. You're going to find racketeering, obviously, embezzlement, bribery, fraud, extortion, illegal cyber surveillance, hacking, trafficking, my wife's stolen information. I mean, it's just all the most horrific things that you could never imagine any Christian organization would ever be a part of in any way. So we're going to be talking about the Association of Related Churches a lot because that hits close to home with me. However, we're really going to be looking at this broader web of corruption and cover-ups and this type of Christian elitism, these hierarchies, these power structures that have just been infected with all types of corruption and even predatory behavior. And what we found is one of the most disturbing things is the targeting and silencing of women. And that's what you see across all of these things. You see this at Daystar, you see this at Gateway, and you see this here at ARC in how they targeted my wife. And if you understand or you know the history of ARC and you dig into it, there is a history of silencing victims, specifically women. And whenever you look into a church scandal, odds are either ARC's name is going to come up or they're going to be directly involved. But mysteriously, the victim, most of the time a woman, has been silenced and is still too afraid to talk. You might be saying, where are you getting all these allegations and accusations from? Evidence, hard evidence, real evidence. A cyber forensics report that is over 200 pages that revealed just the most predatory and sadistic behavior one could imagine as they targeted this behavior on my wife. So everything that I'm telling you is in our federal lawsuit or in one of our district lawsuits as an allegation or a form of an allegation, and we also have hard evidence for. So we're going to go into the first part of a series of interviews on Christian criminal cover-ups. Let's dive in.
What are the allegations against ARC leadership?
The allegations in the federal case against Chris and Dino and ARC and their agents, I mean, it's basically the same things you would find in a RICO case. You know, it's criminal conspiracy, racketeering, embezzlement, fraud, extortion, all of those things. It's not technically a RICO, but it is a RICO context case that can be easily converted to RICO. And that's because we were waiting to see, you know, the other actors involved, which we think we have nailed down now.
Who were the primary leaders in their alleged roles?
When you look at the leadership of ARC, you have guys like Tim Timberlake. You know, he was like the public manipulator. You know, his role was just deception. The wire fraud coming out from Tim is astronomical. Like, these things are really, really serious. But what I want to hit on is this, that these guys, that Chris and Dino would sanction not only what I would call, it's not just spying, it's not just surveillance. This is voyeuristic. This is cyber-stalking. This, if you look at the profile of people who do this kind of stuff, it falls in the line of like a psychopath predator. It's sick, but it's just I guess it's just another day in the office for Chris and Dino and the ARC leadership. And then for them to, like, they can't even say that they're sorry, and they're going to get out there and just do all their fake featuring and get all of, whatever the latest book or the latest show or the latest facade is, the latest front is, to keep people's eyes off what has happened, what is happening, and what is about to be exposed. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then things continue to happen, like Robert Morris was his apostolic overseer, one of the highest ecclesiastical spiritual positions in Church of the Highlands. It comes out what he did, right? And so now I'm thinking Cindy Clemenshire, right? She said that Robert had all of these ministry friends that she went to that didn't do anything, that helped covering it up. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe Chris knew all along and helped cover it up, because that's what he does. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the mode of operandi. And then Chris comes out the following Sunday after all this stuff comes out about Robert, right? And so the congregation, I'm sure, is waiting to hear, okay, Robert was our apostolic overseer and he's here all the time and all that kind of stuff. Chris comes out there, does some kind of thing about been an up and down week. Hey, it's my birthday.
Happy birthday to me, everybody.
But I'm just going to preach ourselves happy.
Happy today. I wasn't scheduled to be here. I don't preach ourselves happy today, everybody.
That was Chris Hodges' response to Cindy Clemenshire for being molested and SA. A happy birthday to me. It's been an up and down week, but I've got the joy. I have a breakthrough, and I'm just going to preach ourselves happy. That was Chris Hodges' response. Never said Robert Morris's name. Of course, he never addressed the victim, Cindy Clemenshire, from the pulpit, as he should have. He did his typical coward Chris, let's just hurry up and sweep this under the rug. Hey, everybody, I lost my joy this week. But you know what? Instantly, I got the victory and I got it back, and I'm going to share it with y'all, and I'm going to preach ourselves happy, and happy birthday to me. That is sick. Chris needs help. Somebody help him. What in the world is going on at ARC? And then you've got Dino just going around, oh, everything's great and wonderful here at Highlands, and, Servolution and Grow Leader, and just ignoring every single thing. And he is literally sitting there while he knows all of these horrible crimes and violations of women's rights, I might add. Violations of women's rights for their dignity and sanctity. All this is going on. He's just going to ignore it, accept the allegations as true, and go do his servolution, go do his voyeurism, and Chris can go do his grow peeper. I mean, this is like peeping Tom 6, cyber-stalking. What in the world were they doing? Watching these videos and then trafficking them. This is sick. These people need help. They need to, and that's why I say, with all of this stuff, not just all of the criminal activity going on in the ARC leadership and the silencing of victims and the covering up of crimes and all that. And, sweeping through now, what happened with Robert and Gateway, which, Robert and Chris were as close as people could be as far as ministry, and that is reflected on how they viewed each other in leadership. And Robert as an apostolic overseer of Highlands. Oh yeah, Chris and Robert, they're right in that same fold, right there. But all this is reflected in all these things, and now in Daystar, right? So let's see how many preachers and pastors that are on Daystar can they finally take a stand for righteousness and not cover it up. So I want to be really clear to every single pastor out there, every single preacher that is on Daystar. You're supporting Daystar by being on the channel. You're giving money to Daystar to be on the channel. You're promoting them. You're in agreement with them. If you don't take your program off the air at Daystar when it is clear they were not only covering up criminal sexual behavior, they're covering assault against a minor and an adult, by the way. And now all kind of weird stuff is coming out there. You know, we're going to do a whole thing on that later on, but there's all this weird stuff coming out there. Can you now, hey, coward pastor, coward leader that sits there and just continues to look the other way with all this sick criminal perversion, silencing of women, cover-ups, can you finally, with a clear, massive, horrible sexual perversion cover-up going on at Daystar, can you finally take a stand for righteousness, or will you continue to be the coward that you've been because you hadn't stood up for any of this other stuff? They don't address it. They keep silent. I'm sure Jonathan and Susie heard the same thing that Carrie and I constantly heard, including constantly heard from ARC when this all went down. Don't take it to court. You shouldn't go to court. 1 Corinthians 6. Don't go to court. Hey, be quiet. Everybody shut up and let us continue to commit all types of criminal activity, cover up sex crimes, and all that kind of stuff. Don't go to court. We're all Christians, right? No, they're not Christians. These people are sick. They need help. They shouldn't be anywhere near a pulpit. They shouldn't be anywhere near leadership. They call good evil and evil good, and they call the worst kind of evil good. That is proven categorically across all of these situations. So I'm going to say this very clearly. Pastor, preacher, if you're on Daystar right now, if you do not take your program off the air of Daystar, you're complicit. You're in agreement with criminal sexual behavior. You are in agreement with darkness. You are in agreement and you are complicit in their sin and you're complicit in their crime. You are complicit. You share in their sin. So wake up and stand up and start speaking truth and standing for truth and do what is right before the sight of God, or he will remove you. He will take everything from you, just like he's about to do to Chris and Dino and Art. When the things come out about what Chris and Dino have actually sanctioned, regardless what they know or don't know, they illegally sanctioned it. When it comes out what they did, what they approved, the world is going to be horrified, and I'm going to make sure that every single person knows about it, every single person that I can, because they put the most horrific lies, take me out of the picture, the most horrific lies about my precious, innocent wife who never did one thing wrong, much less one thing against them. And she reached out to him and she told him and she begged them, we begged them for help. What did they do? Look the other way and destroy them and lie about them into overdrive. And yeah, let's all get pleasure for being a peeping Tom on Stovall's wife. You're sick, sick, sick.